starting a couple of new businesses, and in doing so, putting together plans and stuff. And people are constantly asking me, well, what about the competition? And I thought, well, the competition. I don't care.
Bleep. She said, "Bleep the competition." Sorry. Did you hear? Bleep the competition.
Yeah, sorry, Jerry. It's just like I don't even want to concentrate on what they're doing, or if there's even anybody else out there doing
well,
this.
They are a non-issue unless you focus upon them and let what you see affect your vibration. Now they are a factor in your experience, but it's not because of their power, it's because of what you are doing about them. You introduce the competition into your vibration in the form of resistance, and you beat yourself, and then you give them credit. That's how it always works, whether it is sports, whether it is economics, whether it is business. We were visiting with a woman one day who was a very wonderful pitcher and was beginning to play professional ball or college ball. And she was trying to reconcile what she had learned all of her life, as she had come to be a very competitive person, with what she was coming to understand and live from what she was learning from us and others. And she said, what would be a good way for me to approach this? And we said, as you're standing on the mound and you are looking at the other, say to them in your mind, if you are going to hit this ball, you are going to be one really good pitcher. Really good batter in response to this really good pitch. In other words, I am going to give you something so extraordinary, and you will really have to rise to it if you are going to hit it. And in that way, because her question was, how can I bring the best out of me without trying to diminish someone else?
Yes, exactly.
And so as she began playing that way, she found that she could throw the ball straighter and harder than ever before in her life, because she wasn't using her pushing against them as a factor that disconnected her from her own resources. The more she appreciated them and praised them and expected wonderful things of them, she said, let's bring this game to new levels. Let's find out who we really are. Yeah. Rather than hoping that they would not be good, she hoped that they would be the best that she had ever seen, and that she could be part of what evoked that from them. And she had the season of all seasons. In other words, the most fun, the most wins, the most successes, the most joy, the most satisfaction, the most life force pouring through her.
Yes, and I liked what you said earlier a little bit too about the tennis player who was brought through them through an experience of contrast, perhaps with an opponent.
Look at your competition, if you want to, as the helpers that help you to formulate your desire. They help you in the focusing of step one. But don't let yourself get so out of balance by focusing upon them that you shoot yourself in the foot relative to step three. In other words, that's always the balance, isn't it? I want to want it enough that it is stimulating, but not so much that I don't believe I can do it. That's always the balance.
Yes. And I guess in terms of business, one of the things is it's so prevalent out there, these companies talking about the competition and trying to take market share from the competition.
That's because the majority of people are still offering most of their action trying to motivate from an awareness of what would happen negatively if they don't. That's what we were talking about. In other words, if I don't do this, I must motivate myself to action, because if I don't do this, this negative consequence would come. That's motivation. What we're encouraging is inspiration, which is, wouldn't it be nice if? It's the lining up with the vision of what you're wanting, and in doing so, connecting with source energy for things to unfold. Inspiration is so life-giving, while motivation is life-draining.
Great. And then I think the next thing is this concept of luck. And I've been watching the professional poker tour on TV lately, and it's so fun watching these guys because they'll have two hands, and it'll come down to they'll do the flop and they'll do the turn, and then the guy it can only be one card on that last card that's going to come up, and he's going to win the whole pot if that happens, and it's got to be one particular card or else he loses, and damn if it's not that card. And so you just you look at that and you think the odds odds? And you say, what are the odds? And it's just like when you say, you turn your station to 96.4. What are the odds that you would actually get that station? There are no odds. But I'm kind of intrigued by, that whole process. And
well, again, there are people who believe they should not gamble. Mm-hmm. And therefore, when they do, there is tremendous resistance and they do not do well. Someone else may want something and have never thought about gambling, so they don't have any resistance in their vibration. And as they focus upon it, they say, oh, I was the lucky winner. It's all about how the vibrations line up within the individual.
Great. And so then I think the thing I'm trying to kind of just get my arms around to these concepts is skill versus luck. And is it all just vibration and law of attraction?
Well, rather than calling it skill versus luck, we want to call it desire versus or in alignment with allowing. Because, you see, the more you know about anything, the skill factor, the more you know about anything, the more you've focused upon it. The more you've focused upon it, then the more specific your desire is. The more specific your desire is, then the faster the energy is moving. The faster the energy is moving, the greater the heightened awareness of the way the energy feels. In other words, the emotion runs high. When you really, really want something, you feel strong emotion. If it's positive emotion, it means you really, really want something that you're not resisting. If it's negative emotion, it means you really, really want something that you are resisting. When you really want something and you can't see a way to get what you want, the negative emotion is the indicator that, and the strong negative emotion, that this really, really, really matters, but that your thought process is not allowing you to let the universe give you sometimes what would seem like the magical response that you're looking for. So we like to say that there is no such thing as luck in the sense that someone's luckier than another, because the universe is even-handed. You are all blessed beings who are worthy of incredible expansion precisely in the direction of whatever it is that you are asking for. But many of you have practiced yourselves into vibration of non-luck.
Okay.
We were talking about how there is not a source of evil, just like there's not a source of darkness, and there's not a source of unlucky. In other words, everyone is lucky in the sense that good should be flowing to everyone and is flowing to everyone. But you've learned from those around you, sometimes you even pick up vibrations in the womb of the pervasive vibration around you. And so often it is very common that our human friends do not feel even close to the worthiness that you are as you compare yourselves with each other. And we see how it happens. You are not aware of what your emotions mean. You are thinking your thoughts sort of, we call it creating by default. You're just giving your attention to whatever shows up before you. You're having all kinds of different experiences. There doesn't seem to be any consistency in what's happening. And as that goes on for a period of time, your sense of well-being begins to diminish. So that it's a rare situation where you are distracted enough or something out of the ordinary enough happens that someone has a stroke of luck. It's interesting, even watching gamblers, many of them have, in fact, we would say the majority of them, if not all of them, have their lucky streak really early on, when the whole experience of it is new to them, because they have not been beating the drum, unless they've had someone all of their life talking about either the appropriateness or the inappropriateness. In other words, you could be influenced either to special luck or disgusting not luck relative to things like that. But so often people who are new to an experience have a better experience with it in the beginning because they don't know so much. They haven't practiced the vibration of resistance. But then as they spend time around those who are having different experiences, and they start gathering their criteria and collecting their statistics, and they realize that the house usually wins and that people rarely win, and they start thinking in terms of odds. In doing so, they diminish their own ability to receive. But it's not because they are unlucky, and they could continue to receive. There's no reason for good not to come to you every time you turn around. You should always win. That was your plan. In fact, fact, you said, I'll go forth into an environment that will stimulate my wanting, and I'll pay attention to the way I feel, and I'll guide myself into one wonderful experience after another. I'll parlay myself from good feeling to good feeling to good feeling to good feeling to good feeling. You never once, from your non-physical perspective, said, because it would defy the laws of the universe, I'll go forth and suffer my way into well-being.
Yes.
You never said, I will go forth and deprive myself of joy so that then I can experience well-being. You cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey until you make the death transition, and then the quantum leap occurs every time.
And so I was wondering why the guy who drew that last card didn't win the next pot, and maybe because he couldn't believe he had won that.
Or he has enough experience to believe. In other words, his experiences tell him that others win too. And also, there are others who are as aligned. In other words, that's what we meant by saying when you are competing over one prize,
Yes.
there is less probability of you holding a pure vibration than when you realize that the universe has the resources to give everybody what they want.
Yes. And so what you were saying before, it's what they call beginner's luck, is when people, when you said when they first start playing, they tend to be less resistant, and it's turned.
They haven't collected enough data. They haven't felt the agony of defeat from others around them so much. And so they're not factoring in everyone else's experience. And you see, it's interesting because we're not wanting you to put blinders on and to singly go through your life experience not factoring others in, because there is so much value from the interaction that you have as you interplay with one another. We just want you to understand that you can set your tone, and that will influence who comes, and that you can have a wonderful time in co-creation without detracting from one other person's experience.
Yes.
In other words, so many people believe that if I win, somebody else has to lose, and that's certainly the way it looks on the gambling table.
Yes.
And yet, look at the resources of your environment. The resources aren't being trucked in from other planets. More and more, your expectation as a mass consciousness begins to expect better life experience. And so better life experience is what you begin to live.
And so I guess my inclination right now in terms of these businesses that I'm starting is to just take the page out of the business plan that says competition and just take it out. I mean, that's kind of how I felt from the beginning, I don't want to put it in there.
The universe will yield to all of us, and there is certainly enough for all of us. And my well-being is not contingent at all upon the well-being that flows to someone else. You never say, I've been well for so many years, I think I will be sick for a few years to allow more people to be well. You never say that, because you understand that your not being well won't give it to someone else.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with all resources. Depriving yourself of something does not give it to someone else. There is enough for everyone. If you have the ability to desire it and line up with it, the universe will provide the resources to deliver it. No exceptions, every time.
Right. One clarification from something you said earlier, I didn't quite get this point. You were saying something about if something's at your doorstep.
Oh, well, we were just playing with you a little bit, trying to get you to get a picture of an aerial view of your experience, and understanding that you've been asking for all of these things, and the universe, God, resources have been delivering it. But because you're so aware that you don't have it yet, you hold yourself vibrationally apart from it, but it doesn't keep it from being lined up, and it doesn't keep the people worry about missing their boat. And we say there's another and another and another and another. There are 20 to 22,000 or more. It is silly even to try to put numbers upon it of probabilities that could unfold that would satisfy you. It could go endless ways. There's not one path of fulfillment for you. There are so many that it is remarkable that more of you are not upon them, but it is because you get so fixated upon what's wrong with what is, or what's missing in what is, that you don't allow the universe to yield to you what it could yield immediately. And that's why very often people feel like they've received a miracle, because something happens that influences their vibration, that causes them to release resistance, and then something unbelievable by normal standards happens to them. And it's all that happened is for a moment they got their resistance out of the way. Those things usually don't last very long because their pattern of resistance sometimes continues, but sometimes that is a sort of quantum leap. And people ask for quantum leaps. They'll say, Abraham, how can I get from here to over here? And we say, quantum leaps are a little unsettling. Why not just go little by little by little by little by little? And usually their answer is, because I'm so sick and tired of being over here.
Yeah.
And we say, well, then just look forward to here.
Yeah.
And then look forward to here. And then look forward to here. And in a matter of days, you can move dramatically in the way you feel, which means you've taken the emotional journey. And when you take the emotional journey, now your vibration has changed. Your point of attraction has changed. Your response to everything has changed. And that door opens and those things that have been lined up flow right in.